Day, everybody. Super quiet day, man. So yesterday we had the coldest day of the year so far. Well, for this area at least, it's like 56 degrees. I woke up this morning. It's Saturday. I'm always very confused on Saturdays because I never know quite what to do with myself. You know, when you have a family and you're married and stuff like that, you have like all these things that you need to do on Saturday. It's like get stuff done. It's Saturday. God, gotta get all this stuff done. Or if you're like obsessed with cleaning and control, like Saturday might be your day to tidy up and clean and do laundry and things like that. I've never been too big into that. Like, I always pretty much allow things to be. Like, every once in a while I'll clean or something like that, but I once said, I allow grass to grow, I allow dirt to be. I don't mind stuff like that. I think it's because I've almost died several times from like parasites and infections and stuff like that, so I'm not really a germaphobe. Granted, I was in like third world countries and stuff like that. When I almost died from parasites and bacteria and infections and stuff like that. So anyway, so it was like edging on 10 o'clock and I was like, oh God, I gotta get out. Because even though I hate to say this, I depend a lot on nature to make me happy, to give me happiness. And I think if there was one downfall I do have, it's depending on nature to give me happiness. Sometimes I try to force myself to stay inside longer than I have to, just so I could defeat that. Because as soon as it's 9:05, I'm like, I'm out. I gotta go. So days like this, it's like 11 o'clock. And I'm like pretty much forcing myself inside. I mean, granted, I'll be out the door by like 12:05. Maybe. But yeah, I like depend on the sky and the sun and the trees and the earth to give me happiness. I spend a lot of time outside. More than most, probably. But it's good to spend time, doing things you don't like to do, like being inside. As long as you don't overdo it, this isn't self-torture or anything like that. It's just trying to strengthen your weaknesses, right? Like if I know that, I don't really depend on people anymore to make me happy. I don't really depend on situations or things to make me happy, like materialistic items most people buy. I don't really count on those to make me happy. Food, drinks, I don't really count on those to make me happy. So I pretty much destroyed all circumstances, situations, things, materialistic possessions, and people for me to depend on those things to make me happy, so I could find happiness on my own in solitude. So I don't need those things, to make me happy, to give me happiness. But the one weakness I do have is that I really like to be outside, and I think I depend a little too much on nature to give me happiness. So every once in a while, like I'll keep myself inside, like imprison myself, so I won't be out in it. Because you gotta work on your weaknesses sometimes. If like whatever happened, like what would happen if I went to prison for something, and I had to be inside for like 23 hours a day. Like, would I lose my mind? So I'm like conditioning myself now to get ready for imprisonment. If it ever happens. But like, I mean, you kind of got to condition yourself for that kind of thing. Not really, but I mean, it's always good to know what your weaknesses are. You know what I mean? So yeah, so depending on things to make you happy. Mine is nature. You know. But the thing is like if it's like severely raining all day, and I have to be inside because it's like really raining, and if I don't like go outside and be in the rain, like I dig it. It's so cool. It's such a cool feeling. Um, I lived in like Thailand for a year, and we had a rainy season, and it rained at one point in rainy season for 8 days straight. It did not stop for 1 minute. Like the whole 8 days, like there were like massive floods. People were getting trapped in their vehicles. It was insane. And and I remember I had made this one Facebook video, and it was me filming the rain, and it was like day number 7 of like 7 days of straight rain. Didn't even stop for 1 minute. It's kind of like that movie Forrest Gump when he's in Vietnam for 25 days and it rains for 25 days straight. It was kind of like that. And by day 3, after just having, whatever, 72 hours of rain straight, I was like, I just walked to the store in the rain, and I bought an umbrella, and I just like walked for miles and hours in the rain. And I just like, I think this one Saturday when I wasn't teaching, I walked for like, uh, walked 15 miles to the nearest mall. Just because I wanted to be in the rain. It was a lot of fun. My shoes were soaked because there was so much flooding. Like flooding where like the puddles in the flood, like the puddles are like running down the street like a river, like 70 miles an hour. So cool. That's what's cool about third world countries and countries closer to the equator. They get these insane monsoon rain seasons where you're like, holy crap. And all your safety and security goes out the window. Like there's nothing you can do about it. It's one woman and her child got stuck in their car and they died in their car in those 8 days. It was in the newspapers and stuff like that. People like came to my school that day and they were like telling me about it. And I was like, wow, that's awful, man. Those things happen in third world countries, Like I was talking to my mom 2 days ago about Krishnamurti and how Krishnamurti he did a lot of speeches in France and Italy, and spent a lot of time in France and Italy and India. And he was walking through the streets of India, and he was talking about how death was so normal. People died all the time, died on the streets, and they were so hungry and starving that they were like skeletons. And because my mom and me were talking about comfort and how we live in a comfortable society where, you're always safe and you're always secure, and you know we live in a very comfortable society where we always have food and we always have water, and for the most part, pretty much most of the population in this country, in the West, in the Western cultures, is pretty much set. We're very taken care of, and even the poor people. I'm considered extremely poor. Shit. If you were to consider me to the majority of the people in this country, I would be below the poverty line because I just don't need anything. Like, I pay for a room for rent for $500 a month. I spend about roughly like $280 on food a month. I don't drink. I only drink water and black coffee. So I'm I go through about $780, $800 a month. Maybe not even that. But that's all I need. Because I don't need anything. I never buy anything. The only time I ever spend money is on my niece and nephew. And it's just like Lilo and Stitch posters, or Lilo and Stitch shirts, or something like that. Or Cheez-Its. But yeah, man, I mean, but that's the thing. We've gotten to a point where we think, if we don't have certain things, we should be unhappy, and like, I guess I've gotten to a point where I don't really believe in that system. You could be very, very happy, and not have anything. You don't even have a couch. Sit on the floor. I don't even have a chair. I don't even have a table. I don't even have a bed. I have a mattress on the floor. This thing. But I think, we pay so much attention to what society tells us. All these commercials. I was talking about Allstate the other day. Allstate commercials. Jesus, dude. You want to talk about spreading fear and paranoia? Allstate's going to sue me one of these days, and I hope they do. I can't stand that company, dude. However, I heard that the Allstate guy was Serrano from Major League. That's pretty cool. But yeah, Allstate Insurance, they're like the number one spreader of like fear and paranoia. Like, Geico and Progressive, they just want to make you laugh, and they're chill. But Allstate, Jesus, somebody's got to put that company out. Hopefully Geico takes them over or something like that. At least Geico spreads fun and happiness and laughter. Allstate just tries to scare the crap out of you. Screw that noise. That's the problem with this country, man. Like, we try to scare the public so much with commercials and advertisements, and then we tell them who they need to be. If you want to get the girl, or if you want to be accepted, or if you want to be whatever it is, buy this. So, they really spread, the commercials, the society, television, advertisements, internet. They just push fear and desire. And most people believe that if they're poor, they can't be happy. So, like, whenever I go into a store, especially Walmart, when I go into Walmart and I'm like walking around the store, you see some happy people. Most people are not happy because they bought into the fact where, well, I'm poor, I should be freaking miserable. You know, like, I used to live in this mountain town. It was called La Ai in Thailand, southern Thailand. It was in the mountains, and the people there, like, they were probably the happiest people I've ever seen in my life. And it wasn't a tourist town. It was just in the mountains, normal town. I taught high school there, and people would walk their cows down the road, and they would put necklaces and jewelry on their cows, and they would fish in the river. They would bathe in the river. Um, they would grow their own bananas. They would have chickens all over the place, goats, and they most likely killed their own chickens and goats for food. Um, and man, they probably lived on $1.80 a day. I did too, man. Like, I lived just like they lived because I wanted to really be a villager. I wanted to experience what it was like and spend the amount of money that they spent. So like there's a statistic out there that says 2/3 of the planet lives on like $1.98 a day. And when I lived there, doing the conversion from Thai money to American money, I think I lived on what was it, like $1.80 a day. So I lived below the 2/3 of the planet level, just to experience that, and I was extremely happy. And all the people around me, they probably lived off of $1.80, $1.98 a day, and they were so freaking happy because there was no real TV paranoia, fear, desire pushed in that country. You can't even buy high fructose corn syrup in that country. They outlawed it. But we push fear and desire in this country a lot. Not just this country, but a lot of Western countries as well. And people buy into it, man. And they think that they can't be happy because they're poor. I probably have so much less money than they do. But I'm happy. Why? Because I didn't buy into that stupid freaking message. Gotta have this if you want to be happy. Oh, you can't afford this? You should be unhappy. What is that noise? Anyways, I just want people to wake up. Like, honestly, there's so many ways you can be happy. And a lot of them are just not listening to those stupid freaking messages by society, TV, internet, Google, social media, magazines, catalogs, all that crap. Now, the first step is trying to give up being beautiful. Trying to attain things, trying to be successful. You don't have to try to be successful. You don't have to achieve things. Like, I talk a lot about my 20s and how my primary goal in my 20s was to be successful and achieve things and be like, professional. And dude, I did all those things. And it was the most miserable time of my life. Oh, nightmare. When I look back then, it was god awful, dude. So it's just like I did what society told me to do, and I was miserable. And now I'm living the way society tells me not to live, and I'm extremely happy. So you don't have to listen to society. Booyah! All right, guys, I hope you're having fun. New Fantastic Beasts movie comes out today, or it came out yesterday. Big J.K. Rowling's fan. She gives most of her money away to charities and orphanages. Hiya, J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter, what? Have fun. Booyah!